Yes, vegans cut out all animal products from their consumption.
30 and flirty and thriving.
But if we make the right decisions at this critical moment,
Ah, that's better. Let's switch off the TV. Life's stressful enough as it is. It's time to just sit back and relax.
Join me and my wife Hannah as we adventure around the world, talking about life, health, wellness and travel into our 30s.
You never know, you may learn something.
Yeah, probably not.
Let's start the show. Hello.
Hey everyone.
Hello everybody, welcome back.
Yeah, welcome back.
It's another week, it's another Sunday.
Thank you for tuning in.
Thank you for tuning in. Thank you so much for all the comments, for everything so far.
Yeah.
It's great seeing
So much encouragement.
It is loads of encouragement.
Yeah.
And we know that this is a brand new podcast and we're getting to grips with...
Yeah, there's going to
with it all.
be the usual teething, the the creases that need ironing out over time. But
Yes. You would have noticed, if you're watching this, that we've moved location.
yes.
I've just spent the last hour setting this lovely lighting up and this positioning.
If only you could see this contraption, this beautiful, beautiful contraption that Hannah's made here.
Yeah,
It's a feat of modern engineering.
I've got the ring light very preciously balanced on a ladder behind us that, you know, when you open one of those big ladders out and then you've got the two pieces of string between the ladder that stops it from basically collapsing, that it's just sitting on that
Like
right
the
now.
straps, yeah. But it does defy the laws of gravity and physics.
And then I've got another little bedroom lamp up there. One thing I need to mention is that we have finally caught up with the rest of the world.
Have we?
And we're on TikTok.
Oh,
Yeah, we're
Apparently
on
so.
TikTok now.
nice.
You can find us on TikTok if
There
you
we
just
go.
type in 30s plant-based and thriving.
Cool.
I feel like we're now Gen Zs.
We are.
We've caught up with the time.
Yeah.
But
feels good.
one major thing I noticed though is TikTok has a no filter.
Oh, of course. Yeah. This
so
is the thing you were showing me.
I showed Andrew earlier. You open up your camera and you face it towards you, and then go and open up TikTok camera and face it towards you, and oh my, there's a filter even though there's not a filter.
Even there's no filter on
Yeah.
there. Yeah.
What
Yeah.
is the world coming to?
I know.
And I did
think
it
there needs
with
to be-
you as
there
well.
needs to be less filtering. Yeah, there was a definite huge difference
There was.
between the two.
Yeah.
But I suppose it doesn't help with people's confidence.
No. I feel like I was mentioning before, I think when we add a filter to everything, suddenly it becomes much harder to remove that filter.
Oh, definitely.
And they
Oh,
could find
I
it.
could see why people would do it. It'd be a
Yeah.
slippery slope.
It definitely is.
Because when he turned the camera to me earlier, I was like, oh,
You got...
why, hello.
So yeah, that was just a little side note, little diversion, but yeah, we're on TikTok and you'll be able to go and find us over there. So moving on, we are going to start a new tradition where each podcast, I say a fact and you say a fact.
Yeah.
And neither of us know which fact, what this fact is.
Yeah.
Are you ready? Are
You
you
going
ready
first?
for this mind bomb?
You'll go first, I
I'll
guess.
go first.
Okay.
Okay. Did you know that honeybees hold hands? Did I really make that anticlimactic?
I just got funny images. in
Yeah.
my mind.
There
Did
are
they
actually,
really?
if you Google it, there
Yeah.
are actually really funny, cute images.
Aw.
They have little
Little hands.
They have little hands, and
Aw.
nobody really knows the real reason why they do this. One specific idea that a lot of honeybee farmers have
Yeah.
is that it's to measure kind of the distance between. So when I say hold hands, it's a chain of holding
Oh.
hands. So they'll hang on from one hive to another
Yeah.
hive, and they'll create a chain of them.
Really?
between
wow.
each one,
It's like a
and-
little choir. Like, no.
Little choir.
I was about to say choir. I don't know why choir came from that. I think it's because I was
Yeah,
imagining them
a
all
choir
holding
of
hands.
bees. That's a good image. Technically, they're all buzzing as
Yeah.
well, so they're all making
Yeah.
one
I
nice,
think- yeah. A little harmonious buzz.
harmonious buzz.
Yeah.
They have little furry bits on their legs that allow them to kind of attach to each other.
They got little hairy
Little
legs
hairy
as well.
legs,
Have
yeah.
they really?
Yeah. And they attach to each other, and you'll see like a line of them, and they're all holding on to each other.
Oh,
they do it while they're flying as well.
Do they really?
Yeah. Have you ever seen a couple of bees just like attached to each other?
I assume they're attached to each other for other reasons.
For other reasons, yes. I think that can be the reason, but that's one.
But they could be just generally skipping through the meadow holding hands.
Yep.
Daisy chains in their hair.
So that's my fact for today.
That's a lovely fact, actually.
Yeah, I know.
I love that idea.
What is your fact?
In Iraq, there was a 5,000-year-old tavern that has been uncovered.
Oh.
How amazing. I haven't read much more into exactly what they've uncovered, but it's just that they have, with all the items, the materials that they found in there, they've even found plates with bits of food.
Wow.
So that they could see that on these plates there was bits of fish left on it.
How is that lasted? What, because of the bones? Is that what you mean? Like the bones?
Yeah.
Is that how they know that it's like fish?
That's a good point, actually, yeah.
Yeah, because I was going to say, I think a lot of it would have like moulded and rotted away, and then it would just leave the bones on there.
Yeah, I think so. After 5,000 years.
Well, you never know.
Yeah, use a picture in like a little
it depends.
Salmon fillet or something.
Well, it depends on, bread these days doesn't ever mould, does it?
That's a good point,
If you were to leave a pit, maybe not 5,000 years, but
they were living in the golden age of non-E number riddled bread.
They were, so it just moulded like normal.
What a glorious age.
That's really cool, though. I love that.
I mean, imagine that. I mean, 5,000 years ago, something that we're all that we've all experienced. Being in a tavern. A tavern?
We've all been in a tavern.
Being in a bar, a pub, just chatting, socialising. There's like a bit of a buzz. I mean, 5,000 years ago.
I know.
Imagine like the context of the conversations that were going on. How different would that have been?
I can't even contemplate what they would be talking about.
Well, I know.
It's like a romanticised thing, though, isn't it? Because obviously, when we think of a tavern, we think of a Skyrim tavern. Yeah. And you've got like the bard in the corner.
That's
singing.
what I'm picturing.
Yeah.
I'm picturing wooden tables, little barrels everyone sat on, with a bard singing in the corner, like a Skyrim bard, like you said. And maybe a jukebox or something, like a little
jukebox,
5,000-year-old, like the bar taking requests.
Yep.
But I think it would be amazing. Yeah.
But really, in reality, it's probably bar brawls and and raids.
I do want, I suppose actually, it probably was.
Sorry to burst your bubble.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you for that.
That's all right.
Let's move on from our facts onto the first topic of the day.
I'm going to take the lead.
Yeah.
We were watching Dragon's Den.
We were watching Dragon's Den.
It was 9 o'clock on a blustery, cold winter's eve.
Okay. Was it raining?
It was.
Yeah.
And a plucky pair of little rascals walked into the den.
Yeah. Were they entrepreneurs?
They were.
Yeah.
And they were purveying their wares. I don't even know if that's the right word. They had things to sell to the dragons.
They did, yes.
And these things were... What were they?
Your story was going so well.
I know.
I think you should start your story as if these people were in a tavern, just to continue that theme.
For quite some time.
Yeah.
Across desolate wastelands and tavernless places.
Okay, sounds good. Okay, I'm gonna speed it up.
Yeah.
So the main point of Andrew's beautiful story is that we were watching Dragon's Den, and a couple of entrepreneurs came on.
I've had an interest in, because I've read about them before, particularly on sort of shamanistic practices.
Yeah.
They have an outlook that everything that you see has its own spirit.
Yes. Yeah.
In it, and that includes obviously crystals.
Yeah.
And shamans in indigenous cultures do use crystals in their work, and they commune with the spirit of said crystal. Yeah. It just got me thinking at the time. If one of these indigenous shamans could see us taking these crystals that have spirit in them, and then seeing us crushing them up and spreading it over our faces, I just wonder what they would think.
Yes. Yeah.
What would I don't know.
I think they would be
offended.
Yes. I think one of the biggest main points we found about this is just the fact that crystals are an amazing thing. I definitely feel like there is some good elements to them, and I think also there are things that some science can't explain, and that's a beautiful thing.
Yeah.
So, but regardless of whether you believe in them or not, there is obviously the question of whether it's ethical or not to buy these crystals.
Yeah.
So just rewinding a little bit, so taking it away from the face creams, just talking about the crystals themselves, and the stones that you buy in these like,
sort of new age crystal healing shops,
hippie shops, a lot of the different ones. I'm a hippie too, so please don't take offense for me
saying
hippie.
None of what we're saying here either is an attack or even condemning the purchasing of crystals. I mean, I myself, like I said, I've had interest in them as well. I've been just as guilty about buying them for the sake of buying them without much consideration to the almost
where they're coming from.
Yeah.
And this was mainly our conversation. It was the fact that unfortunately the mining and the production of these stones has become
commercialized,
a victim of consumerism.
Yeah, and it was profiting off obviously the huge boom in new age movements.
Yes.
Seeing people buying them en masse for their supposed healing qualities.
Yes. There isn't really an ethical consumption when it comes to capitalism, and
there's no ethical way to mine en masse the amount of crystals that say the West needs to fulfill the materialistic needs of everyone that's desiring that kind of, I mean, there's it's not a case of them being hand picked. I mean, these are mile long quarries.
And they're normally the indigenous people or the people that live in these places don't actually really see the benefits of this mining.
They don't get a much say on, as you said, whether or not there should even be a mine in the first place, or even if they've agreed upon having a mine, how much of the product is being gathered.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and taken away.
And I think that's what we were saying before, that if you were to get someone in a culture like a shaman, for instance,
a shaman will have like one or two crystals on them, and they'll probably have those crystals for most of their lives as a shaman.
Yeah.
They don't necessarily search for more. No. They don't need any more.
They just have what they need.
Yeah, and there's something called shamanic journeying.
Yes.
They would journey to, visit the spirit of this crystal.
Yes.
And so I think there's like this general, there's not really that much, they don't really understand, not that I want to talk for them, but why we hoard or why we want so many, like in terms of like filling up shelves of crystals that
we don't necessarily always use.
And exactly.
If we were to mine these crystals and say like it was to become that we've just mined them to a point where they're nothing, so this moves on to the point of them grinding them down. Going from the stone itself, there's an issue there with the mass production of these stones, but there's also a bigger issue at hand, and it's now the movement and the trend of grinding those stones up into basically dust, putting them in our
skin products, which you're destroying the crystal for the sake of a skincare product.
Yes, which a skincare product was only produced for another materialistic consumerism thing. So it's just a full cycle of consumerism again.
And the issue is that also becomes this whole idea that, as we was talking about the other day, how materialism by its very nature is an infinite process.
Yes.
and you're taking and mixing an infinite process
Yep.
with finite resources.
Yes.
There's not an unlimited amount of crystals.
No.
But there's always going to be materialism.
Yeah.
And the issue is, I suppose, is that if you take this physical, tangible object and then destroy it, grind it down, turn it into a face cream, eventually you are going to start... it's going to take a long time, I know, but generally speaking, you're going to actually start running low on the actual product itself, because you're destroying the products. It's going into our skin.
Yeah.
Credit to the crystal shops is that at least they are selling
the whole thing.
The whole thing.
Yes.
Someone's going in there, they're picking up a crystal, they're buying it, they're taking it home.
Yeah.
And, you know, one day, even if they don't use it, it might end up in like a charity shop, or it might be given to a friend or passed down to a family member.
Yep.
You know, but the crystal still exists.
Yeah.
But as soon as you grind them up and put into a skincare product, obviously it no longer will exist.
Yeah, and you can't reverse that.
No. You over, you know, hundreds and hundreds of years, they will, the resources will deplete.
Yeah. Yep. And that's the problem. Say, like, take the example of the shaman who has access to these crystals currently. Yeah. But then we keep grinding them down. Yeah. And they get put into face creams, and then we run out of crystals, and suddenly, like everything, it becomes endangered. Yeah. And then they put a restriction on them. Yeah. And then even the people who originally were using them for smaller uses can't get hold of them for those own uses because we have taken them all. Yeah. And so what we're saying here isn't to not buy crystals.
No, not at all.
It's just trying
having a little bit of just thought behind it.
Yes.
And not saying at all to not go into a crystal shop, of course. You know, just when you're next in there and you're looking at these beautiful objects and you're thinking about buying one, just take a moment of consideration to think of the process that got it there. Yeah.
Also thinking about whether you are going to keep this. Are you going to keep this crystal? Yeah. Are you going to reuse it? Are you going to pass it on?
What's your intent? You know, have you like, what's your reason, your purpose behind it?
Yes.
You know.
Yeah. And that's all that we would say. And again, we'll repeat that we have been guilty of this ourselves.
Oh yeah,
it's only until recent years that we've become more aware of this.
Yeah. We're not trying to, you know, be on our high horses about things that we've been part of, but we've just been thinking about it a lot lately.
Yeah, and we felt like it needed to be mentioned because probably not many people see it from that point of view.
And I want it to be well into the future that we can all still have these amazing products, you know, these amazing minerals from the earth, without there being these restrictions on it. And if we all just consume mindfully, I suppose, and just be a little bit of aware of where they're coming from and not purchase them just for the sake of purchasing them. Yeah. It means that, you know, well into the future, we'll still be able to enjoy these amazing
things that we enjoy now.
Exactly.
Yeah. These face creams that have these crystal elements in them, these crushed crystals. If you still want to be able to buy the whole crystal, maybe we shouldn't fund the crushed crystal version.
Crystals, exactly.
Because if you are a crystal buyer and a crystal lover and you are into that, then the two kind of don't quite work together, because you've got one in whole in your hand, but then the other one's been crushed into a cream. Well, if you want access to both, you won't be able to have access to both forever.
Exactly.
And so it's just thinking about the ethical practices behind it. On that note, we do actually have a really helpful website that you can go to find out where your stones and crystals have been mined from. So that website is...
What's that? www.mindat.
Mindat.org.
So MINDAT.org.
Yeah. And it just gives you an idea of where they're coming from. Yeah. Who's mining them, what other mines they have access to.
Yeah. Just gives you a little bit insight, I suppose, to... Does it... that's an assumption. You looked at it more than me earlier. Does it give you some kind of insight into the mining, the ethical practices of said mining company, or just how
widely mined it is. It's not going to be the perfect place, but it just gives you a bit more of an idea of where it comes from. Yeah.
That's really good. I think definitely.
So it's not all doom and gloom, by the way, guys.
No.
We do actually have some happy news on the mining front.
Yeah, well, I'd like to think that the majority of what we're talking about is happy.
Yes. And we actually found it in our newspaper that we read, which is called The Happy News.
Yeah.
And we get this every couple of months, although we won't be able to get it again for a while while we're travelling. But we highly recommend that you go and check out Happy News.
Oh, it's brilliant.
It's only £3.90. I don't know the exact amount, but £3.90 every 3 months.
Every 3 months, yeah.
And then you get a lovely little newspaper through, and it has all happy, and her name is Emily Coxhead. She made this newspaper, and it's just the best thing ever.
It's brilliant. Is she a graphic designer?
She's a graphic designer.
Yeah.
And I think she put it together on her own at one point, and then now she's got a big team.
It is amazing, very inspiring.
Yes.
I can remember when we first got an issue of this, and it was, oh wow, I'd love to be able to do something like this.
Oh yeah, it's one of those things I wish I'd done myself.
Yeah.
Like hundreds of years ago. In my other life.
Well, it just shows that there's so much more, despite what we see in the media.
Yes.
And despite what we see going on in the world and what's published in mainstream newspapers.
Yes.
It just shows that there's so much good stuff going on.
Yes. It's nice, I think, because she focuses on happy news all around the world, but she does mention a lot of ethical, economical, and things about like climate change, animals, loads of different things. So the thing that I was going to mention, which is relevant to the mining topic, is, are you ready? So there have been landmark deals given to the indigenous communities in Canada. So I'm not going to pretend I can pronounce this, but it's called the Yakitaquil community. I probably really, really mashed that up.
Let's have a go. Where is it to in this?
It's there.
Yeah, I don't have a clue.
It's called she's put in brackets the YQT community, so let's go with that.
Yeah.
So the YQT community in southeastern British Columbia have signed an agreement with the mining company NWP Coal Canada, giving the indigenous leadership a veto over a proposed project.
Great.
Under the deal, the YQT will become the regulator and reviewer of the proposed 300 million Crown Mountain project.
Amazing.
It's really good. The deal aims to reshape the role of Indigenous nations in resource development projects and place power in the hands of groups historically excluded from them.
Yeah.
The director of project development at NWP said, "We see this as the right thing to do, treating the Indigenous title holders as governments and taking their world seriously. They've also agreed to pay over $2 billion in compensation to the indigenous communities after a class action lawsuit put forth by 324 indigenous communities."
Wow.
Which is amazing.
That is amazing, yeah.
The money will be used to revitalise indigenous education, culture and language, to support survivors in healing and reconnecting with their heritage, according to a press release.
Wow.
How amazing is that?
What a lovely story.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love that.
We need more of that in the world.
We definitely do.
Yeah.
So it's not all doom and gloom. There are amazing things out there happening.
Exactly, there is.
And everything that we ever mention is only to just bring attention to things that could make us all aware.
Yeah.
And make us make better choices.
Yeah, exactly. It's all for the greater good, I like to think.
Yeah. And the best thing to remember is it's supply and demand, and it's tiny. Sometimes it's the tiny actions.
Yeah.
So it can be a little bit overwhelming to take like the problems of the world on your shoulders, and we're not in any way trying to say, oh, you must not do this, must not do that. Every little helps.
Yes.
Literally, even the simplest things, the little tiny decisions that you make that are slightly more ethical, it doesn't matter. It's just those little decisions.
It's just those little choices.
Yeah, that make the world a better place.
Yeah, and sometimes they can feel like very small choices, that you make in your life. But if you think about the amount of people in the world, 8 billion people, not saying that they're all making those choices, but the amount of other people that are thinking, you know what, I'm going to make a little choice today to do something a little bit more ethical, and it ripples to become a very big thing.
Yes. Well, it's like the one straw thing, isn't it? When people were saying about the straws, and they would be like, well, just one straw, but said 8 billion people.
Yeah,
you know?
Exactly. Yeah.
It does really make a difference.
Yeah, it's the best example, really.
And hardly anywhere has plastic straws now.
No, well, exactly.
I always give them the eye every time I go somewhere and they've still got plastic straws. I'm like, oh.
To be honest, I can't think off the top of my head anywhere I've been particularly that have any so far. Yeah, you're right. There is
they've
the majority.
all eradicated them.
It's amazing, really, isn't it?
I'm not really sure I'm a fan of is it the bamboo or the cardboard ones? They do get a bit soggy.
They do, but that's also you could always think about that as like it's a good proof of concept that they'll get nice and soggy if they ever end up in the sea and then disintegrate.
Exactly. That sounds like a good time to move on to topic number 2.
Yeah, I reckon so. I know that this next subject is going to make me salivate.
Is it?
Yeah.
Is it going to make everyone else salivate?
I reckon so. Well, I reckon because we all have our guilty pleasures.
We do, definitely.
Which leads us on
to
vegan guilty pleasures.
With Anna and Andy.
Vegan guilty pleasures. Pleasures.
Okay, so the second topic is actually talking about, well, kind of everything vegan food related.
Yeah.
When we first started this podcast, one of the biggest topics that we're going to talk about is plant-based food and veganism.
Yeah.
And the first 2 episodes didn't include any of that, so I thought, well, I think we need to make sure that we're actually
that's in our title.
Yeah. So we've been vegan for 4 years, which means we have actually seen, I think we became vegan just as it was booming.
We were still at a stage where there wasn't an awful lot.
No.
There was some a nice few choices for us to have, and some alternatives to some classics. But generally speaking, it felt much easier. I swear, the first 6 months to a year that we were vegan or plant-based, that it felt much easier to be pure plant-based.
Yes. And also, everything's a novelty. So when you first become vegan, you're like, oh my God, you can have this, and you just want to try everything.
I think that hasn't changed, though.
No, it hasn't changed. Because there's still things coming out now all the time.
Everything feels like a novelty.
It does.
And then just when you feel like you've tried everything, you've tried all the alternatives, right, I can get back on the straight and narrow now. They'll bring out something else. And that's where I always trip up.
Yes.
Because I'll be like, oh, wow, yes. I forgot about that until now.
Yeah, definitely. And I think it's because they're always improving on everything that we've already tried as well.
That's another thing.
Yeah.
You can tell this subject excites me. Not only would it bring out a brand new product, but like you said, they're also improving upon existing ones.
Yeah.
First 6 months to a year, I could genuinely say that I wasn't blown away by the cheese.
No.
The cheese selections that were out there.
But they knew that. It's like they knew that they just weren't hitting them up.
Yeah, and they were still, really trying to perfect their recipes. Yep. But these days, I don't have much problem with it. Maybe I've just grown accustomed to it. Yes. I don't know, but I really do enjoy some of the options out there now.
So what's your favourite vegan cheese?
The most recent one, it's got to be the new Cathedral City extra mature vegan cheddar. I think it is. That to me is the most cheese-like to what I remember it being like,
and the least chemical based. So it has all of the ticks almost.
It does. The flavors are there. Mm-hmm. The textures are there. Before the Cathedral City, it was applewood.
Yes.
But applewood was one of those ones that I loved, and it tastes amazing. It does. I mean, I still love applewood. Yeah. But it's perfect in toasties and things like that, melted. I wouldn't necessarily choose to have it just cut a chunk off
and eat it on its own.
Eat a block of applewood like an apple. Whereas, now the Cathedral City one's come out. That's the first one I've had where I could quite happily just cut off a chunk and eat it straight out of the pack like I used to do.
Yeah.
It's good melted and it's good just on its own.
With Branston pickle.
Oh.
It's so good, isn't it?
Yeah.
he's salivating.
Yeah.
Another guilty pleasure of ours is the Jamaican patties. I don't know what brand they are, but they're from Sainsbury's. Well, no, that's where we get them from.
Are they intentionally vegan or are they accidentally vegan?
Pass.
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like can see the vegan symbol on it.
Yeah, I know, me too.
It could be just accidentally vegan.
With us, it's the intent, isn't it?
Yes.
If we buy something that's accidentally vegan and it's got a main contain in it, as long as we didn't buy something that has an intentional ingredient in it.
Yeah.
Of an animal product.
Then we're fine.
As long as it doesn't contain something with intent.
To be honest with you, I think we're pretty normal amongst the vegan community because that's why so many vegans I know eat Oreos and they're not actually vegan. They're may contain. And so that's such a big thing. And if you didn't know, Oreos are fine. If you didn't know this by now, you can eat Oreos.
That was a dark, dark day.
Yes.
For the waistline. The moment we found out that Oreos
and digestives
and Bourbons Bourbon biscuits, they're all vegan,
but not anymore. Pringles, only the ready salted, like the plain, like literally plain Pringles is the only one that
doesn't have cow juice in it.
That doesn't have cow juice. If you remember the barbecue ones,
they were really good.
Used to be vegan.
Yeah.
And again, I think that actually that was an issue because of some FDA food standards thing. And I think that they just didn't, I think the may contain was always in there.
Okay. But now they've actually got...
like the percentage of milk has gone up enough to become an actual ingredient.
So they've actually got farmyard beast.
They have got farmyard beast.
In Pringles now.
Yeah, they have. So, what is it more of our guilty pleasures? So we've got Greg's sausage rolls.
Greg's sausage rolls, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Which is amazing. And also, I don't know if you've noticed, but if you ever get a vegan sausage roll and a non-vegan, the vegan one is less greasy. Like the packet doesn't get
definitely.
Greasy.
Yeah. I've gone to Greg's multiple times.
Yeah.
At lunchtimes whilst I'm at uni or whatever.
Oh, have you now?
Oh. That kind of slipped out actually. Not always to get me, just to escort someone there.
Oh, is it? Okay.
Okay, well, I might as well come clean.
Yeah.
A couple of times I've gone to Greg's on lunchtime.
It didn't get me one though.
No.
But yeah, anyway. So...
I would say that because it'd be cold when I get home, but they're rarely ever hot anyway, are they?
Many a times I've found little packets in your bag that you come back with, and I'm like, what have you been doing? So yeah, Greg's sausage rolls, and also the steak bakes.
Oh.
Hashtag bring back Greg's vegan steak bakes.
Yeah, bring back vegan steak bake.
That was amazing. I loved that.
That was that was really good. I I think the sausage roll was what got the main. Yeah. When that came out, I think the world went nuts, didn't it?
Yeah.
And Greg's were on the newspapers.
The world went nuts, and lots of people were angry.
What was the anger about again?
It was
the use of the word.
Piers Morgan, I think.
Oh yes. Yeah.
But to be honest with you, it was a good campaign because everyone was talking about it.
Well, exactly. It did. Any publicity is
good publicity.
Yeah, that's it, isn't it? Yeah. Steak bake. Yeah, that was really good. Yeah, and very convincing. Yeah. I know it sounds odd sometimes when you're plant-based. Oh, it's so convincing.
It depends on the reason you went vegan.
Yeah, I suppose. Yeah.
Because some people don't like the taste
or
the texture of it.
Yeah.
Others just did it for health. Others do it for
the ethical reasons.
There's so many different reasons now. So generally, if you are someone who just went vegan for health and for the animals, then you're probably not going to mind the texture. But if you went vegan because you just generally could not eat meat,
that's going to be different, isn't it? You're going to stay away from all the...
But on that note though, there was something we had recently that was so much like the real thing. We were like, I'm not quite sure how I feel about this. And I can't remember what it was, but it was like a steak or like a burger. Or...
Yeah, I think you're not talking about the Chinese near us, are you?
Oh, maybe I am, but that's a good time to get onto it.
I think so, actually.
Yeah.
We are very fortunate in Plymouth to have that does a full-on vegan menu. Yeah. And the great thing is, all pretty much the same price as the mainstream versions as well. Yeah. And so the fact that you can just, order a takeaway like other people can, straight to your home, Chinese, the classics. Oh. And
they have what do they have? Duck?
They have, duck. Vegan duck. Vegan octopus, I think. No, squid, sorry. Octopus. Vegan squid.
That would be pretty hard to replicate. Yeah. The vegan squid is damn good as well, though, and they look... Oh, no, it's vegan prawns.
No, I think you're talking about vegan prawns.
Vegan prawns.
And
they're pink.
Yeah, I think that might have been what you were talking about. Yeah. In terms, because I can remember when you first ordered them, and you was like, wait, what? Yeah. The texture of them. Yeah. They've even got, like, the little
bubbles on the back.
Yeah,
like the little...
Yeah, it does. They look really convincing, and they taste really convincing. Yeah. What else have they got?
The only thing that makes it obvious that they're not real prawns is that it doesn't have the poo pipe.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, if you think about, like, if you was ever before your vegan life a prawn lover, these are just everything that made prawns nice, but without all the horrible stuff. And obviously the fact that it's not an actual living thing. Yes,
exactly.
But yeah, very convincing.
Yes, definitely.
What else do they have? They have like I think they have beef, chicken,
pork. Duck, pork. It's probably all made. I'm pretty sure we've had like the duck and the chicken and the beef, and they all feel like they're made from like the same texture, like soya texture.
I think that's the only giveaway sometimes. Yeah. Sometimes we do. Even now, we'll order from them, and we'll still prod away at the food for the first 20 minutes, trying to figure out, have they given us the real thing? Every single time. But the thing that gives it away is that you'll kind of compare it to the next dish.
Yes.
And compare it to that one, and you'll be like, no, these all kind of have a similar sort of soy-based texture.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. And so it's called...
It's called Imperial Garden.
Imperial Garden. Yeah. Yeah. So if you're ever in Plymouth,
highly recommend.
Yeah, we've had that quite a lot, but the last day before we move out, we are going to have that. Oh yeah, we can't get that anywhere else.
That's the thing. We always try to decide. Okay, before we move out, what's going to be our parting gift? And we was thinking, okay, so maybe Papa John's, but then we thought if we ever came back to the UK. Well, no, we would at some point, but what I mean is...
we're never coming home.
Whenever we come back to the UK, you can get things like Papa John's, they're major chains. Yep. You can get them anywhere. But I think this little vegan Chinese place is a little gem. Yes. And I don't think we'll find that easily.
There's going to be a rare amount of them. If there is any, there's going to be a rare amount of them. So
I think it's going to be a good one.
Definitely. Yeah, 100%. So that's all the kind of like the guilty pleasures that I can think of at the moment. Yeah. One of the things we were going to talk about was like the arguments for and against vegan bad food, because with vegan bad food comes unhealthy vegans, and then the arguments of why some people end up going, I went vegan for a certain amount of time and it didn't work for me, which kind of ends up being because they weren't really getting the nutrition that they really needed. No.
We all know junk food, regardless, is bad for you. Yeah. Arguably, obviously, vegan junk food is morally better. Yes. But it's still bad for you health-wise, nutrition. But I think it's always a good thing to have those options, because if it just makes it slightly less intimidating for someone to give it a go.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
I think if, regardless, we went vegan when, like I said, just before the boom. Mm-hmm. And it didn't stop us. But I think nowadays, if I wasn't already plant-based, I would find it much less intimidating, I think.
Because there's an alternative to everything.
Yeah, I'd think, I love this meal. And then you'd go into your average supermarket now, and you would find an alternative to it. And you'd be like, oh, okay, wow.
You could have it anyway. Yeah. And there's a rare amount of times where you go out to eat with your family and can't find a vegan option.
No. If anything, most people are salivating over your plate.
They are
admiring how good it looks.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, they are. It's supply and demand again, because if we are all choosing the vegan alternatives, then really it doesn't matter what the particular reason is, whether you're vegan for the health or for ethical reasons or whatever. It's supply and demand. It means that every single time someone goes for that option, rather than going for the meat option,
it's taking it
the
away
demand
from,
is less.
Yeah.
And so does that show on statistics that there is less demand for meat? And does that then slowly create vegan food to be cheaper? Then does that mean that meat is becoming less on demand as well? So and I do I think that the whole entire world is going to be vegan? No. But do I think that we can make a difference by showing with our money where we want what we want? Yes, I definitely think we can. And I think this also goes on to which can be another day. Is the topic of
the
new lab-based meat. So so this is another topic that we could probably
go on. So where they're growing
meat in a lab. And it originally started off by being made with the fetus blood of a fetus or something, but now they found a way to do it with the fibers of the,
have they really?
Which is technically closer to being vegan than it was, considering you still needed a fetus in order to get the DNA, whereas now using like the hair, I think
really
is a little bit, I think that's okay. I would have to fact check that, but I know they found a way to do it not using the blood of the fetus, so they're getting closer to doing it to make it vegan friendly. And I think that in the future the world will be eating lab grown meat rather than farm meat. I don't actually believe the whole world will go vegan. I just think the type of meat we're eating will change.
I think as long as this goes the ethical route and no animals are being harmed anymore and things like that, that's like the main goal, really, isn't it? I think.
But on that note, when you're in the UK and you feel like everything's really progressive, and you're like, wow, there's a lot of vegans. And then you go to America.
Oh wow.
And the amount of I mean, we were in Florida. Which wasn't as vegan friendly.
No.
Because of the big chains and like the lobster shacks and which was an amazing place to be, but we just didn't do very well over there with vegan food. No. Well, in Disney World we did. That was probably all we had. And we got to the end of that trip and could not touch another burger and chips for a long time.
No.
Well, I couldn't. Andrew took a week. I remember on the flight home, I think it was the last couple of days of the Disney World trip, and I was like, I just cannot look at another burger. And about a week later, Andrew was like, I could really have a burger.
I think it's what it does is because it makes you appreciate what you have back at home.
Yes.
And sometimes it's easy. Get to a point where you're, there's no options. There's nothing. There's nothing new has come out for ages, or I don't know. You're getting bored with what's available to you.
Options,
the normal, but then you go somewhere like that, and it just really makes you aware of we're so fortunate to be living somewhere that does. You can go into a supermarket now, and you do have an entire aisle.
Exactly. Of stuff. Last couple of subjects is what's in our healthy breakfast.
I think it'd be quicker to list what we don't have in our...
It's a really good breakfast.
It is, though. It is.
And if you can... Overnight oats is a life... No, that's probably extreme. Overnight oats is a
time saver.
A time saver.
Yeah, because you don't get the usual, cement mix in the morning that you have to do
with
unless you clean it out straight away. You pretty much have to throw the pan away.
Yes. Which we don't clean it out straight away, do we?
No.
Most people probably do.
I suppose. Yeah.
So we have overnight oats. We then have date syrup. We have chia and ground flax. Don't forget to grind your flax, otherwise it comes out the same way it goes in, and you don't get the nutrition. Yeah, which is not really known everywhere. You can buy them whole, but then it does not like it sort of says on the back of the packet, grind them. Yeah. You have to sort of know that through reading online and.
Oh, good tip though. Coffee grinder. absolutely perfect flax grinder.
Yeah.
That's what we use,
Yeah,
isn't it?
because there was nothing worse than having to get the blend or the another big grinder out, all for the sake of just flax seeds. That then ends up really dusty.
Yeah.
It ruins it because you can't use it for anything else because you can never get all that flax out.
Exactly.
Whereas if you just get a little coffee grinder, a little tiny kind of, I don't know, 10 centimeter tall one.
Yeah.
With a little press button on the top, and you just stick a cup's worth of flax in, press the button, and you've got enough for a week. And we just used to grind down loads and loads and loads and put it into big jars, and then every time we use it, it was really good.
Yeah.
So we would have flax, chia, so a tablespoon of flax, tablespoon of chia, a tablespoon of date syrup.
Yeah.
Then we did have some omega seed mix, which had like cherries.
I think I had goji berries
in it. And also had flax in it, but it was good for your omega-3, wasn't it?
That didn't last long though, did it? I mean, we got that I think for a couple of weeks, but
it was good value.
It was good value,
but we're not going to be able to get that everywhere.
No,
so
no.
the chia and flax are the main things.
Yeah.
Then we have chopped up banana and then some blueberries. Recently, we've been adding 2 new ingredients, which is cinnamon and chocolate powder.
Chocolate powder.
Yeah, cinnamon and chocolate powder.
Hershey's do a 100% cacao chocolate powder.
Yes.
Which is amazing. I mean, I think it's something like per heaped tablespoon, it's something like 10 calories. And obviously, being pure cacao, it's great for antioxidants.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, it seems like an exhaustive list of everything that we included in that. But one thing I've got to say, though, is that all those ingredients, they go a long way, don't they?
They do go a long way. Yeah, you don't really have to. You pay a certain amount of money and then
it actually works out quite cheap in the long run.
Yeah.
We've got somewhere near us called Grape Tree.
Mm-hmm.
And
which I think is a chain, so I think you can find them quite a few places. I think
you can find them quite a few places around the country now. And you can buy a kilo bag of chia, a kilo bag of flax for probably about £3.50 each. Yeah. Which go a long way. Yeah. And then, what else did we say was in it? Date syrup.
Date syrup.
Yeah,
that's the only thing
it's a little bit pricey.
Yes. But the reason we go for date syrup is we looked into like the ethical factors, but date syrup looked like apparently
it's the most ethical one, isn't it?
Why was that? Was that because something to do with the trees? Oh,
yeah,
that's what it was. Argive.
Yeah.
Syrup. Once you've taken what you need from it, the tree has to go.
Oh,
whereas with date syrup, you can the trees continue to grow
to produce.
Yeah, so it's just muchly better. It's muchly better. So that's what we have in our breakfast, and that is the best breakfast to have to get all of your nutrients. You get your fibre in there, you get your omega.
You start the day so well, and it gives you so much energy. Yeah. It's so good for you. It's got everything you need.
Yeah. So our last, just rounding up, we're just going to make a couple of shout outs to our favourite places to eat, because we were talking about food and places that we've gone and like our guilty pleasures.
Yeah.
In terms of pizza, we like Papa John's. Papa John's wins.
Yeah, it does.
Well, we do have somewhere independent that we love too. Our independent is the
PUREZZA.
PUREZZA.
Yeah,
Ooh.
PUREZZA. I mean, they've got one in London now. Maybe multiple in London. I don't know.
Yes.
They've got one in Bristol.
Yeah.
But PUREZZA,
it's just so good.
It's the dough is just
divine.
Yeah, it's what dreams are made of. I could just eat a base of their dough.
It's like wood smoked, isn't it? Is it wood smoked pizza?
I don't know what it is, but like it's this really puffy dough, a little pillow
of goodness. So we've gone to both. We've gone to the PUREZZA in Bristol, and we've gone to the one in Camden, and they're both just as good as each other. They're really good. Really good. Highly recommend visiting.
Definitely.
Yeah. And so cafes we like. So in Southampton, there's somewhere called Cafe Thrive.
Oh, Cafe Thrive,
which we go to for their Thrive bowls and their goodies.
Breakfasts.
Yes.
Amazing.
Oh, yeah.
They've got so many options for breakfast.
Yeah. We also have Nest Cafe.
And again, this is another Southampton thing.
Yep.
Which I'm going to have to miss out on.
Yeah, unfortunately so. Nest have the best cinnamon swirls.
Nest do a whole bunch of, is it donuts?
Donuts,
Is it like different tasting donuts? And it has amazing, they've got so many flavours.
Yeah, they have.
They'll have something like an Oreo donut.
Yeah.
And then they'll have a brownie donut, and then they'll have something amazing like some kind of breakfast
Bacon
donut or something. It's amazing. All vegan.
Yeah, all vegan. Well, Nest is one of those places that
they don't actually declare anything is vegan.
It's vegan. They purposely removed all vegan wording on their cafe, so as you go past you just would not know it's vegan. And that's because of them making so that they're removing the battle that they get when you get builders going I would like something, and then they find out it's vegan and they turn around and go out the door, whereas actually they don't know whether it's vegan or not.
Exactly.
All they know about is the allergens,
day after
which
day.
is all they need to know.
Exactly. And finally,
Baboo G's in
Indian
Southampton.
restaurant.
Yes. They are amazing.
Yeah.
Authentic
Very
Indian
authentic.
food.
Yeah.
And they do a really good range. And I think last time we were there together, it was like £47. And oh my God, we ordered so much.
Absolute feast.
Yeah.
And yes, such good prices.
And that was including drinks and everything.
It was.
You had so many different trays. They're a vegetarian Indian place, aren't they?
Yeah.
But of course they have, because of that, they cater for vegans as well.
Yeah.
And it was just really lovely people. They were really good customer service.
Oh, brilliant.
Lovely layout of the place. I highly recommend that as well.
Yeah.
So give a shout out to Baboo G's.
Baboo G's.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Anywhere else that you can think of that you would like to shout out to?
Oh, actually, I think someone that's worth mentioning on the whole pizza front.
Yeah.
Knead-Pizza.
Knead-Pizza was also very, very good place. I love Knead-Pizza.
Is a restaurant in Plymouth again.
Yeah.
They're very close to PUREZZA in their style of pizza, aren't they?
Yes, they are. Yeah. It's like that wood smoked.
Puffy dough, dustiness.
Yeah.
They've got lovely pizzas.
Yes, they have.
So if
they're lovely building as well. Beautiful place to
even
go.
Even a perfect setting.
Yeah.
It's set in an old, I don't know what it was, maybe an old sort of abbey.
Yeah.
Where monks lived or something. It's got a well inside. It's got a lovely little courtyard that's open in the summer. Historical building.
It's a listed building, isn't it?
Listed building, yeah.
And that's opposite. That's down by Kitty O'Hannigan's.
Yeah, well known.
Just
pub.
opposite. Yeah. Another one is Power Plant Cafe.
Oh, of course. Yeah. How can we not mention Power Plant? Yeah, Power Plant Cafe.
Power Plant Cafe is amazing. They started off as a shop, a little kind of vegan shop.
Yeah.
They've opened up a cafe now down Cornwall Street.
Cornwall Street, yep.
And they're fantastic. They do beautiful cakes in there.
Yeah.
Lovely
coffees are really good. Yeah.
Really good coffees.
And they do amazing lunchtime, I think, like sandwiches and things like that. It's really nice.
So a shout out to Amelia and the girls at Power Plant, because we've known them in there for a while as well.
Yeah, another one, I can't believe I didn't think about it until now, is Cosmic Kitchen.
Oh, Cosmic Kitchen.
Yeah, another dedicated vegan one restaurant
in Plymouth. Yes.
In Plymouth.
Another beautiful building.
Yeah, this is also maybe a listed one, is it?
A listed building, yeah. Yeah, I think maybe. I'm not too sure, but they're just around the corner from Knead-Pizza.
Yeah, they are.
They're all in kind of the same area.
Yeah.
They are beautiful, beautiful setting in there. It's like an old church, isn't it?
Yeah.
Or it seems to be.
Yeah, I think it was an old church.
What I quite like about their setting is that when you're sitting on the chairs are actually like old church chairs.
Yeah.
Some of them have still got little Bible bits in the back of them. And it's run by two girls.
3, isn't it? Or is it 2?
There's 3 sisters. I think they're all twins.
Okay, yeah.
Or I could be wrong. Triplets.
Yeah.
I might be wrong. Maybe two are twins. One, I'm not too sure.
But anyway.
Yes, and they are Greek, and so a lot of their food is Greek inspired.
Yeah.
And it's beautiful. So of course they have these lovely
salad bowls. Like deli counter.
So good. And they make a really good vegan Scotch egg. Yes.
Yeah, they're famous for their vegan Scotch egg.
Yeah, which is really good.
It's really
Definitely
good.
highly recommend it.
Yeah.
And anything else that we've had in there? Oh, their moussaka. Their moussaka was lovely. That was lovely.
Yeah.
Really enjoyed it. And what did you have? Nachos?
A mountain of nachos.
Yeah. For decent amount of food for the money that you spend.
Yeah, definitely. And really, really tasty.
Yeah. So that concludes today's episode. Hope
been
you've
a good
enjoyed. It has been a good one.
Yeah.
We'd love to hear your feedback on if you liked this episode. It was a bit different to the last 2 episodes.
Yeah.
So if you liked it and you...
But I suppose it's just trying to bring it back to the original intent and theme.
Exactly. So don't forget to follow us and subscribe to us wherever you listen to your podcast.
Yeah.
We are on TikTok and Instagram, and we are also on YouTube.
Woo!
So you can go over to YouTube and you can listen to us there and subscribe to us there as well. Have a great week.
And thank you so much for listening.
Thank you for listening. Bye.